Hi there, I'm Joel Gershman, co-founder of Digital Autopilot. I'm excited to share this video with you. This is a segment taken from our e-commerce growth engine course on how to drive more traffic, conversions, and profit from your e-commerce business. To access the full course, click on the link in the description below or subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Really hope you enjoy. Hi, and welcome to Module 2, Strategic Direction. Now, you've set some ambitious but realistic growth goals for your business. But how will you achieve those goals? Many people make a mistake here. They think that growth is about diving in and implementing a range of practical strategies like traffic generation strategies and optimizing your website for better conversions and so on. Well, I've got news for you. If that's all you do, don't be surprised if you see limited results. Now, don't get me wrong, you obviously need to dive in and implement practical strategies. And in fact, we'll be spending a significant amount of time exploring exactly how to do that effectively. But before you can begin implementing specific strategies in your business, you need to be clear on your overall business strategy first. And that's the purpose of this module. You see, many business owners begin implementation without really thinking about their underlying business strategy, like who their target market is and what their unique driving needs are and how they'll meet those needs better than the competition and what their brand stands for. Those are foundational strategic questions. And though it's much easier to ignore this strategic step, it's also a recipe for limited results. Take the classic case of Michael Dell, founder of Dell Computers. As a teenager, he famously became the most successful paper delivery boy in Chicago's history. How? His strategy was simple but powerful. Rather than take a random door-to-door approach, which had a 10% success rate at best, he looked up all the newlywed couples in the births, deaths, and marriages register and only visited their houses. His success rate was astronomical because many of them had just moved into a new home, and that's exactly the kind of person who's in the market for a newspaper subscription. How did he do it? Answer: he didn't start with a practical strategy like knocking on doors. He started with deliberate, well-considered business strategy. He identified who his target market was, and only then did he begin implementation. If you want to achieve real growth, you'll also need to start by defining your overall business strategy. It's what we call your strategic direction. And in terms of our agenda for this module, we're going to start by defining your target market. And that's the purpose of this particular video. We're going to look at which customers you should be focusing on. In future videos within this module, we're going to look at how to create what we call your differentiation strategy to help you stand out from the crowd. And finally, we'll also help you hone your unique brand strategy so it resonates with your target customers. Let's begin by focusing on your target market. And this is really your first step in defining your strategic direction. You need to get crystal clear on your target market, sometimes called your niche. Now, your target market is the intersection between who you serve, your customers, what you offer them, in other words, your products or services, and where you'll offer it, which is your geographic scope. Let's explore each of these together. Let's start with your customers. Right? They're obviously the individuals or businesses you'd like to buy or use your services. And it's no secret that your customers are really the heart and soul of your business. Without them, you don't really have a business, which is why it's the first place to start when defining your target market or your niche. Unfortunately, many business owners make a crucial mistake here. They consider the entire world or a large part of it as a potential customer. And whilst it's true in theory, anyone could become a customer, in practice, it's a dangerous perspective. Why? Here's the reason. Because if you're not focused on a clear, defined group of customers, it often leads to a scattergun approach to attracting customers and meeting their needs. And scattergun approaches typically produce scattergun outcomes, right? You see, to acquire and keep customers, you need to produce products or services that meet their needs. Yet, since different kinds of customers have different needs, it's very difficult for a business to meet everyone's needs at the same time. Trying to be everything to everyone is a bit like a recipe for mediocrity. On the other hand, if you define a specific contained group of customers who share certain demographic characteristics like age, gender, social status, jobs, etc., as well as psychological characteristics like needs, desires, fears, attitudes, then you can direct your precious energy and resources towards reaching those customers and genuinely meeting those needs in ways that others can't. Think of it as going narrow and deep, a bit like a laser beam, rather than broad and shallow. And the primary customer group that you decide to focus on as a result of that is called your target market. And while other markets become what we might call your secondary or flanker markets. So for example, if you're starting an online art store with expensive, unique pieces, let's say, then people under 18 with little disposable income living at home with their parents probably won't be a lucrative target market. On the other hand, wealthy, retired or semi-retired baby boomers who live in affluent neighborhoods and have a taste for aesthetics might well be a lucrative market. And a secondary or flanker market might be younger, 30 to 40-year-old high-flying executives who want to portray an image of success and culture to the world. Right? Remember the example of Michael Dell? He only focused on newlyweds. Now, just to be clear, targeting a specific customer group doesn't mean you have to stop people who don't fit your criteria from buying from you. It simply allows you to focus your marketing dollars and brand message on a specific market that is more likely to buy from you than other markets and is more likely to be lucrative for you. Right? And as a result, it's a much more affordable, efficient, and effective way to reach potential customers and generate business. Now, the second element of your target market or niche is your product or service offering. And the various customer groups that you might serve, they don't exist in a vacuum, right? They exist in relation to the products or services you offer, which is why you can't identify your customers without simultaneously thinking about your product or service offerings. Certain kinds of customers will like certain kinds of products or services. So to accurately define your niche, you'll need to think deeply about which products or services you'd like to offer the various customer groups, and then select what we call the customer product combinations that are most likely to lead to profitable growth. Finally, your niche can be further segmented by the geographic location of your customers. Let's say, for example, you've identified a certain lucrative customer group, say middle-aged, middle-class women, right? And let's say they might buy a certain lucrative service in which you specialize, say your new personal fitness training app. Well, wonderful. That's great. But you still have a strategic decision to make. Where geographically would you like to focus your energies? In a particular set of suburbs, across town, interstate, other countries, globally? That's a critical strategic choice. I really hope you enjoyed this training video. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share with others so they can benefit too. And to access the full e-commerce growth engine course, just click on the link in the description below. Good luck growing your e-commerce business.